Hey y'all, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a small little preview of the part 2 Sisterwives one-on-one tell-all, which airs this Sunday on TLC. The main focus in this preview is Christine Brown and how she struggled all of these years to try to find her place within the Brown family dynamic. Christine goes as far as calling herself the quote-unquote basement wife, and of course we're going to get into what exactly that entails for Christine, and most importantly why she felt that way. Before we look at this preview together, I do want to go back in time a little bit to past episodes of Sisterwives where Christine stated she allowed Cody and Janelle to make most of the decisions for the family and just went along with them because she felt like her opinion did not matter. In an episode back in March, she stated that she felt like she was a basement wife. She said that in the plural community, there certainly is a basement wife mentality. She continued, if you have a situation where there's a wife that's a queen bee, well, the other wife goes in the basement and she doesn't matter as much. And I've seen it enough. I've seen it a lot. In the preview of part 2, Christine tells the host that she wasn't aware of the term basement wife at the time that it was happening to her, but that the situation affected her personal identity. She remembers how oftentimes she would just let the other Brown adults dictate her role to make life quote unquote easier. Unfortunately, because of this though, Christine ended up losing herself.
So every single day of my life, I wake up and I have a choice to make if I'm in a situation like that. And in the end, I would love to just be strong and be like, no, 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 and just cause more contention and more contention and more contention. Or I can just go, okay, that's fine, and make it easier. But then in the end, I lose myself.
Yeah, I was going to say the cost is you.
Yeah, the cost is me.
The price you pay is losing you.
Yep. I put everybody first most of the time. I put whatever Cody needed. It's like, I can be the peacemaker here. What do you need? What does Janelle need? What does Mary need? What do all the kids need? It left me running on empty. And I asked him for help. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. He's like, you're just changing all the agreements and everything. And I said, I'm overwhelmed. And he couldn't
What were the
help.
agreements?
Like family came first all the time, 100% of the time.
So you were the caregiver. You were the organizer.
Yes.
You were the...
Yes.
I know that feels uncomfortable for you to wear.
It is uncomfortable.
But I mean, Janelle was very, very, very forthcoming in saying that you were the one that took care of her kids.
Yes, I was their constant. There we go. Can we just say, what I like was the term that is just more comfortable.
Okay.
I was just the constant.
Okay.
I was just the constant.
You can tell that this is incredibly hard for her to discuss and open up about, even after being separated from Cody and the family. These are things that she has kept deep down inside for years and hasn't discussed. But for any of us who have watched the show for any extended amount of time, you know that what she is saying is true. Christine has always been the caregiver of all of the kids, especially Janelle's kids. We even seen that in this past season with Gabe and Garrison, and when it came to making decisions for Thanksgiving, it came down to whatever Christine Brown said, because for them, they look up to Christine. She has been such a huge part of their lives that even now, as adults, they still look up to her for guidance. And I think that that is why Janelle and Christine do have such a strong bond, because of those kids. Even after Christine separated from the family, her and Janelle have stayed in touch and stayed very close. And that's why, my friends, in this next part of the preview, it's a little odd to me that Janelle did not support her and stick up for her a little bit more than she does. Janelle kind of makes it out like Christine is mixing reality up with her emotions, and that is possible, but at the same time, Christine's done a lot for her, so no matter what Janelle thinks, you would think she would be a little bit more supportive of Christine and how Christine feels, especially when it comes to all of those years of Christine taking care of her kids and everyone else's kids. They want to know why she feels the way she does, but then they don't support her when she tells them, and that's a problem.
There had to be some sort of hierarchy, right? You know?
There's not usually.
No?
No, not in our families. Not in our family.
But then how could she feel so alone if there is no hierarchy, you know?
See,
when you feel castigated and put in the basement, right?
I feel like she's coloring that experience with her perspective now. I mean, I feel like...
So you can't validate that she did experience...
I mean, I'm not saying she didn't.
Right.
She never said anything. She would complain maybe to Cody.
Yeah.
But she never said anything.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, it sounds like Janelle is in deep denial. I've watched the show for several years, and there is definitely a hierarchy in place. There are certain wives that are weaker than others. For example, Mary and Christine both have always stayed quiet and just did whatever the family says. As for Robin and Janelle, they've always been the vocal ones, the ones to put their foot down and say, this is how we're doing things. So Janelle doesn't even have to say it. We've watched it for years. We have seen it happen and unfold on TV. For her to invalidate Christine's feelings in the way that she felt in those moments is so ridiculous, and it's so disrespectful. But what I've learned about the Brown family is not only do they love to live in denial, but they also do not take accountability for jack squat. They would much rather blame someone else for things that happen within their family than see the fact that they played a part too. And speaking of hierarchies and zero accountability and denial, we have Robin. Let's see what she has to say.
I was surprised at Christine talking about being a basement wife. I didn't know she felt that way. And I felt like Janelle and maybe even Mary weren't like, they were like, well, we'll just deal with the dysfunction or the things that don't work. And Christine was just like going, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I think it unraveled it for Cody. You know, this memory of the past with the family, of this like happy time in his head, was so hard for Christine. And he started losing his sight of like the big picture that we talk about.
Yeah.
We don't operate separately, you know, we are one family.
With Robin, the one thing that is for certain is she is always going to find a way to make it about Mr. Cody Brown. Screw how any of the sister wives are feeling, as long as Cody's happy. That's all that matters in the end. I know a lot of people dislike Robin the most, but for me, I think I feel the most sorry for her. She is so deeply rooted in this way of living that she's blinded by the truth. She doesn't see the truth. She lives in this place of denial, and that's all thanks to her upbringing and the way that she was raised. It's not necessarily her fault. She is the quote-unquote golden child who does everything right, the picture perfect wife. But I can't help but to think that she has her own struggles that she tries to keep way deep down as well. And if she's not careful, she's going to end up in the same position as Christine. One day, these ladies are going to have to wake up to the reality that when it comes to Cody, each and every single one of them are disposable, including Robin. They can blame Christine and Mary for the reason why their marriages didn't work all they want, but what are they going to do when the day comes and it's them and their marriage doesn't work? Y'all let me know all your thoughts about this little preview in the comments down below. Will you be watching part 2 of the tell-all? Also, if you want to stay in the loop with the Sister Wives, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing before you go, and tapping the bell for post notifications. That way you are notified every single time I upload. I appreciate all of y'all to the moon and stars. And until the next one, mwah. Bye guys!